I'm with Antoine Menager, who is the site manager. There's still a lot more work to be done. What exactly do you have to do, and what are the key milestones that are coming up now?
Yeah, it's almost done. You can see the main civil works is totally achieved, so you have the final aspect. But what at the moment the main challenge is inside the buildings to achieve erection work, mechanical works, electricals to connect all the equipment together. We have a first milestone at the moment to achieve the primary circuit. Next milestone next year is to begin the overall commissioning of the plant on final to connect this upper, to start up this upper, to connect to the grid by the end of 2018.
When I read press reports, all I hear is it was supposed to be completed in 2012. The costs have trebled. Why is that something that should be seen in context?
Yes. Here we have the first of a kind, the head of the series, the new series of EPR reactor. It was the first time for EDF to build EPR in France. It was 20 years after the last site we built in France. It was in Civaux 20 years ago. So EDF and all the French nuclear industry have to relearn on this EPR also is a very high level of requirements. So we have to relearn with high level of requirements for the nuclear safety to improve the nuclear safety. That's why for this head of the series it's more difficult that we expect at the beginning, but what is important is to relearn on the after for the following plant of the series to reduce schedule and cost.
And the one in the China, that's speeding up. That's lessons learned, right?
Yes, we have a lot of exchange on the Chinese colleague coming in Flamanville, bring back feedback experience. And for the civil work, for example, construction time was shortest in Taishan because they use the feedback experience. They use difficulty we have to avoid these difficulties, to optimize all the layout on the feedback experience from Flamanville to Taishan is a correct demonstration that we will build the following plants with shortest time.
And if a tsunami had to come into this area right now, or an earthquake, would we see a disaster like Fukushima?
No, for all our sites in France, nuclear plant in France, we assess totally the margin we have. So we assess Flamanville site, also this EPR on Flamanville. We have a big margin for the platform, more than 4 meters high. We also take into account increase of the sea level for 60 years because you know this EPR is built for running for more than 60 years. So we take into account increase of the sea level, for example, but we still have a very important margin for this. So after Fukushima, the design and the high requirement for the ECPR conclude that we have a very strong and robust reactors for safety.
This is a generation 3 type reactor. Has any of them been completed yet? And what do you think the reaction will be once the first one gets complete? And what are the expectations?
What is important is to achieve properly with good quality of work. It's very important. It's my duty on site, of course, health and safety of the workers, but also quality of the work. Of course, EPR is very high requirement for nuclear safety from the design. We have strong civil works resisting to earthquakes, many things, aircraft shield protection, aircraft crashing on the reactor building, and of course requirement for safety must be very, very strong. And all my teams check it day to day on the plant.
And what about waste? How's the waste site looking here?
Waste treatment after burning the fuel inside the reactor, we still have spent fuel in the fuel building. This fuel building on EPR is very strong with a double concrete wall. On the waste treatment after go back to the plant over the cliff in Lag. I think you will visit tomorrow.
And finally, what advice would you give the South African government who's looking to build 9,600 megawatts of nuclear power?
My experience here is to use how to say already done reactors to use experience feedback. Very important. Not to to experiment a new type of reactor. So the theory effect is very important, standardization, and with EPR on the EDF experience with 58 reactors running, we have a large field of experience of standardization, first point. Second point also is to build not only one, like Flamanville, this EPR, but to build directly a theory, because you have a learning curve, very important. For example, I have exactly two buildings. The second building, exactly the same 3 years after, I built it with the teams 2 times faster. So it's very important to have a big site and to have many reactors on the site.
How does the community feel about this nuclear power station?
The community know Flamanville for more than 30 years with 2 existing plants running in very good condition, first point. Second point, for this EPR, every day it's more than 4,000 people working, and more than 50% are local employment. So of course they are very proud to participate to this big construction for the future with a lot of local employment.
And transparency wise with the community?
Yeah, every 3 months I have a committee with all the local community to explain what happens on the work site, to visit with all together, to go inside the buildings and to explain what happens.